Hi, this is Ryan Lawler. Today I'm at Lemnos Labs. I'm here with Jeremy, who's one of the founders. Tell me a little bit about Lemnos.
Yeah, so we're kind of an earliest stage venture capital firm. So, no one's too early for us. We only invest in hardware companies. We like people who are 2 to 3 people, a duct tape prototype, and then we invest between $100,000 and $250,000.
Okay, and you've got this warehouse now here with all this cool equipment. We're going to wander around, take a look at it.
Yeah, I'd love to show you around.
Cool.
So we just moved into a new 8,000 square foot facility. One of the things we did add this time around is we have a full machine shop now. You can see that there's everything from a Tormach. We're going to be adding a couple other pieces of equipment, kind of as our startups need them. And then if we go upstairs, one of the first stops we see is actually the electrical engineering room. One thing we often found was that startups needed equipment that was just too expensive for them to afford. So we have all that in-house now. One company does get their own office. It tends to go to an older company. So you can see Revolve here, and they're actually doing some light manufacturing in here. This next room is actually the quiet room, so it'll probably end up being filled with companies, but right now it's more of a reading room, so people take calls here. This is the partner office. This is kind of where Helen, Eric, and I spend our days. We meet with our companies here, and then all the other stuff that we do. And then if we go back downstairs, we clearly have the standard lobby and conference room, but really what makes this place different is the pit. So as you can see here, we've got 6 of our startups in here right now, and they each get a little area, and then as they grow, they take more, and eventually they move out. But this is where all the work happens day to day.
Tell me a little bit about how you got started with Lemnos Labs.
Yeah, so we've been around for about 2.5 years. Helen and I co-founded it. I'd spent 5 years in the Air Force, and she'd spent 5 years in baseball. And we had this crazy idea that kind of hardware was going to be the next big thing. So we raised a little bit of money and started investing. And then actually about a year ago, we added Eric Klein as our third partner.
And what kind of companies do you focus on?
Yeah, so we're kind of the red-headed stepchildren of the valley. We only invest in hardware companies. But in that, we're pretty broad. We do everything from consumer electronics to robots, and even aerospace represents about 20% of our portfolio.
What sort of value do you provide to these companies?
We want to spend 3 to 5 hours a week with them for a year to year and a half. So we're very hands-on. We do everything from conduct design reviews, business reviews, kind of connect them to manufacturers. And then there's also the day-to-day of, we have a machine shop and a whole community of people who are all hardware people.
So tell me about some of the equipment and stuff that you provide to the startups that are here.
Absolutely. So about 5 weeks ago, we moved into this facility. We used to be over in Soma, and now we're in Dogpatch. And really, there's a couple different things that we think were really critical. First and foremost is physical space. These aren't the kind of companies you can start at Starbucks, and that's really important. You can see people have workbenches. They need to be able to spread out. Also, we really care about being able to host events. So there's a couple meetups we have here, so we have a whole event space. And then also we have a machine shop. So what we found was that, if you invest $100,000 or $200,000, if you have to turn around and buy $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 worth of tools, it really hurts the initial point of the startup. So we actually have a lot of that equipment. We've got $150,000 of equipment in-house that our startups get access to.
Tell me about the new fund.
Yeah, so we just raised a $20 million fund. We're really excited about it. And really, kind of what this lets us do is, kind of invest a little bit more when we need to. So kind of our standard deal is $100,000 for 10%, but we can go up to $250,000. But then it also lets us kind of follow on and pro rata into our startups as well.
Tell me some of the companies that have gone through the program so far.
Yeah, so we've had a couple Series A's and some big seed rounds, so we're pretty pumped about that. Our first 10 companies have actually gone on to raise about $35 million. So, we had Airware, which raised a big Series A last year from Andreessen Horowitz, and also Local Motion raised a Series A from them. But then also we have companies like NanoSatisfy, which launches satellites, and Sproutling that went out and raised big seed rounds. So right now, right behind us, we actually have Compology, and they actually do, connected trash cans, and they really want to go change the waste management industry. If you think about it, it's an industry that, the dumpsters we use today are the same ones that, honestly, your grandparents probably used. So we have everything from kind of this. We have 2 aerospace companies in-house right now. One is Verez, which actually does drag reduction techniques on airfoils. They just closed out $1 million. And then one of our newer investments is Ceres, which actually uses multispectral cameras for agricultural purposes. So they're going to start with crop dusters and eventually go to drones, but especially given the droughts going on today, it's like a really valuable piece of data for farmers. In the back we have Pantry, which does kind of unmanned retail stuff, so like the new next generation vending machines. We actually saw one in the lobby earlier, and they're awesome partially because it's like now I can have lunch pretty easily, and that's really the whole idea. And then in the back over there we actually have Six Sensor, and their whole goal is to make you more knowledgeable about what's in your food. So their first product is something you can carry with you that when you go into a restaurant you can find out if there's gluten in food.
Cool. Well, thanks for having us and showing us the space.
Yeah, glad to have you.